Okay, Saturday night, October 26th, about 7:30 in the evening. I'm not going to get an immediate start on the NGC 100-199 series. Sky is looking promising. Could be a little atmospheric moisture in the air. We'll have a look at NGC 100 when I do get started. That really fine edge-on galaxy from the other evening. Scope setup pointing at the zenith. I synchronized it to Altair, and in about a half an hour I'll get started because the NGC 100 series is fairly east and it will progress west, so the situation should improve. Going to mount up the Handycam and go check in on the World Series, which had a fabulous game last night that I didn't watch. I just watched the 9th inning, and then in the 10th inning, the Dodgers won on a grand slam home run after going down 1 to the Yankees. Anyway, let me go ahead and mount the camera up, and then in about a half an hour, we will get started. Well, alrighty then, it's 7:45, and what we got here is a synchronization on ENIF. So basically we're going to be looking in this region of the screen. Things further south will be drifting north a little bit on the top of the screen, and things further to overhead will be drifting there. But that's pretty much where things will turn up. Actually, you know what I'm thinking? I want to actually push it up a little bit because we get better contrast a little higher on the screen. So we'll just stay with that. So synchronizing once again. All right, let's have our first view of the evening, which will be, of course, that fabulous super edge-on galaxy NGC 100. Okay, folks, we may be a bit too early this evening. I may go inside and watch something for a little bit on Prime. I'm following a series called Haven about a detective that moves to some town in Maine and has to deal with all kinds of strange psychical phenomena. Anyway, we can see the galaxy there on the screen. Beautiful edge-on NGC 100. Maybe I'll do a couple. That's not bad though. I suspect I should wait about a half an hour before going any further. That's a fairly decent view right there, surprisingly, but it's just entered the sky's middle third, and we're going to be covering a lot of studies in the 100 to 199 range that may actually be outside of the sky's middle third, so we wouldn't get the best views. But we are looking at our first view of NGC 100. I'll give you the data on the next view when I come out in about another 15 minutes to a half an hour. Well, I thought I'd catch this galaxy before it got too late, because if I wait much longer, we will lose it to the roof tride so far north. This is a galaxy we should be familiar with. It's NGC 147, galaxy in Cassiopeia. Magnitude 9.5, 13.5 by 8.2 arc minutes. Giving a great view from my angle. I'm looking askant at the screen. It's a elliptical with some disturbances in it, 2.4 million light years distance. And there's reasons why it's disturbed, because it's a satellite galaxy of Messier 31, the great Andromeda galaxy. We're at right ascension 0, 33 minutes 11 seconds, declination, and this is the key part, why I have to do this early, 48 degrees 30 minutes and 27 seconds. If I wait for the Earth to spin a bit further, we'll get some kind of obstruction of the lens, and the result of that will be a loss in aperture and some distortion potentially in star features. But this is a little early, as I said, because I am just kind of sitting here stepping through the 100 to 200 series looking for anything of particular interest and anything that was particularly far north. So this is a view we're getting probably 10 minutes after a previous view of NGC 100. Like NGC 147, I'm stepping through the catalog in advance of the actual linear step-through scheduled for about 15 minutes to a half an hour from now. And I came across this galaxy, and I do want to do a comparison later on. This is NGC 157, a galaxy in Cetus. Its magnitude 10.4, 4.1 by 2.7, obliquely presented spiral with a bar and lowercase bc. 77 million light years distant, puts it at probably about 75,000 light years in diameter. We are actually getting a very nice view. It's at right ascension 0 hour 34 minutes 46 seconds with a declination of, this is the reason why I'm doing it, -8 degrees 23 minutes 46 seconds. And I want to compare it to a view later on. This is a very fine galaxy. We're getting a very decent view. You can see the spiral arms wrapping lovingly around its waist. And it'll be interesting to compare it to a later view as I step through the 100 to 199 sequence. What we have here is the second distant satellite galaxy of Messier 31. This is NGC 185, a confrere of an NGC 47, galaxy in Cassiopeia, and we're looking at this because it's plus 48 degrees in declination. The galaxy is magnitude 9.2, 12.5 by 10.4 arc minutes. This is also a disturbed elliptical, 2.1 million light years distant, so a little bit closer, 400,000 light years closer than NGC 147. We're at right ascension 0 hour 38 minutes 57 seconds, declination of plus 48 degrees 20 minutes 13 seconds. Let's have another adventitious look, but have a look at Messier 110 so we can do a little bit of a comparo between these three extended elliptical type satellite galaxies of Messier 31, the great Andromeda galaxy. Well, here's Messier 110, and on first look, what I'm noticing about 110 compared to 147, 185 NGCs is how intensely brilliant the core of Messier 110 is. Once again, it's a galaxy in Andromeda, but it's about a magnitude and a half brighter than its confreres at magnitude 8.1, a wee bit larger, 19.5 by 11.5 arc minutes, and a little more distant. It says here 3 million light years. That could be suspect. We're right ascension 0 hour 40 minutes and 22 seconds with a declination of 41 degrees positive of north, 41 minutes and 5 seconds. Given that right ascension 40-22, it's just possible that it may lie within the realms of the 100 to 200 NGC, which is our goal for this evening, which I think I'm going to go ahead and begin. Let me give you a sense of the time right now. It is now 6 minutes after the 8 o'clock. Yeah, 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Let's give it a start, beginning with NGC 100. I'm kind of astonished here. We're not getting a very good view of NGC 100. We may have some kind of a cloud moving through at this point. So maybe the view we had earlier is the one we're going to like. I'm beginning to see it now. NGC 100 is a galaxy in Pisces, magnitude 13.3, 5.7 by 0.6 arc minutes. Means it probably has an average surface brightness of about magnitude 15 plus. Spiral with a lowercase c, mere 47 million light years distant, puts it about 60,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 24 minutes and 2 seconds with a declination of northern declination of 16 degrees, 29 minutes and 9 seconds. Since I've already consumed some of the observations for this evening, I will have to be sparing in terms of what we're going to turn up throughout the series of 100 to 199 plus. Our next galaxy is NGC108. It's in Andromeda, magnitude 12.1, football shape 2 by 1.6 arc minute, spiral with a bar, lenticulars A. So it's 1/2 removed from a fully mature spiral of the lenticular class. We're at right ascension 25 minutes 59 seconds and a declination of plus 29 degrees 12 minutes and 41 seconds. I will tell you, in the 100 to the 200 series, there are a number of OPIG clusters in Cassiopeia, but they are too far north for me to image from the backyard observatory. Our next study is NGC117, and the reason I selected it is it's one of the few galaxies that is north of the celestial equator in Cetus the Whale. Magnitude 14.3 with a 0.7 by 0.4 arc minute apparent size, spiral of the class A once removed from the lenticular, 242 million light years distant. Given its size, I'd say it's probably somewhere around, apparent size and distance, something around 50,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 27 minutes 11 seconds and a declination of 1 degree 20 minutes and 1 second. Our next view is another galaxy in Cetus, but it's about the same distance below the celestial equator. I've selected it because its aspect ratio is almost 3 to 1. This is NGC 120, galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 13.4, 1.5 by 0.6 arc minute, spiral with a bar of the lenticular class, so a barred lenticular galaxy, 181 million light years distant. We're at right ascension 2730 and declination minus 1 degree 30 minutes and 48 seconds. That's our view. Here we see NGC 125, a galaxy in southern Pisces, within about 1 degree and maybe 1/2 of Cetus, the bounds of Cetus. This galaxy's magnitude 12.1, pretty much face on, 1.8 by 1.6 arc minute, spiral with a lowercase a, but it has a ring. 240 million light years distant puts it probably somewhere around 125,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 28 minutes 50 seconds, declination 2 degrees 50 minutes and 19 seconds. Look for that ring. If you're not seeing it on direct vision, shift your eye off to the right about a finger width or two, and you might be able to just pick it out using averted vision, or you use more sensitive light, I believe they're called rods, that are used for black and white vision and have a greater sensitivity to photonage. Anyway, give it a look, NGC 125. Not particularly distant from NGC 125 is NGC 127. It's a galaxy in Pisces. I selected it because its magnitude 15.3, 0.8 by 0.5 arc minutes, lenticular spiral, 182 million light years distant. 15.3 galaxies should be quite apparent on the screen on a decent night of seeing transparency, as long as you don't have too much light pollution in your region. And I do, which is one of the reasons I do real-time imaging, because otherwise my eyes would be impacted by neighbors' lights. But fortunately, I'm already impacted by the light of the screen of the camera. We're at right ascension 29 minutes 12 seconds with a declination of 2 degrees 52 minutes and 20 seconds. See if you can make out that magnitude 15.3 lenticular spiral. You probably noticed this other galaxy in the same field with 127. It's brighter, magnitude 11.8, larger, 2.8 by 0.9 arc minutes. So a nice sub-oblately presented galaxy with maybe a 3:1 aspect ratio. So not quite edge on, but it should give you a good, well-defined view of the frontier. It's a spiral of the lenticular class with peculiarities, which typically means it's probably interacting gravitationally with a neighbor galaxy. 187 million light years distant. That puts it at probably somewhere around the side, maybe 140,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 29 minutes, 15 seconds with a declination of 2 degrees, 51 minutes and 50 seconds. Check out the view. Well, NGC 132 is a skosh further north than the last galaxy that I claimed was pretty high up in the Cetus realm. This one's magnitude 12.6 with a 1.9 by 1.5 arc minute. Apparent size, spiral with a bar, lowercase bc, so 2.5 times removed from lenticular glass. I think it's given a pretty good view on the screen, although I'm not seeing things very well with the scope position as it is. 240 million light years distant puts it at probably about the size of Messier 31 at 150 to 160,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 30 minutes and 10 seconds with a declination, like I said, a bit farther north of 2 degrees, 5 minutes and 34 seconds. All right, we've gone a little further south than I would ordinarily go. In this case, into Cetus the whale, but it's because I want to evaluate whether we can see this one or not. It's magnitude 15.9, 1/2 an arc minute by 1/2 an arc minute, spiral without any other attributes in terms of its morphology. 323 million light years distant puts it probably at something like 40,000 light years in diameter. If we can see it, I'd be impressed. We're at right ascension 3146 with a declination of minus 13 degrees, 20 minutes and 16 seconds. Generally speaking, I don't expect to get decent views of anything more than minus 15 degrees in declination, but this one's a little shy of that, so we'll have to check out the screen and do some research on the mañana. All right, we've gone a little further north for a 15.5 magnitude NGC 141 in Pisces. It's a galaxy 0.8 by 0.6 arc minute, spiral with peculiarities. This one's distant, 525 million light years. I think the most distant galaxy I've imaged is somewhere around 1.1. I believe it was in Eridanus. So we're at right ascension 31 minutes 17 seconds with a declination of 5 degrees plus 5, 10 minutes and 45 seconds. See if we can turn it up on the screen. There's a satellite passage right now. You can see it wending its way across the screen to the lower right. Okay, and as it does so, have a look. We're going to have another look at NGC 147, that galaxy in Cassiopeia, which I already mentioned is a satellite galaxy of Messier 31. We are getting very close to being blocked, and I don't think we're getting quite the view we got earlier, so I'm glad we caught it. NGC 147, a galaxy in Cassiopeia, is magnitude 9.5, 13.5 by 8.2 arc minutes. It's an elliptical with some disturbances in it, 2.4 million light years distant. We are at right ascension 3311 and declination plus 48 degrees, 30 minutes and 27 seconds. Yeah, it seems to have developed a little bit on the screen. We'll compare it later on with what we captured earlier. Lots of nice stars in the field, however. Okay, we've headed south again to NGC 151, galaxy in Cetus. It's also NGC 153, so I think we'll skip that. Magnitude 11.6, 3.8 by 1.6 arc minute, spiral with a bar in lowercase bc, and as you may know, lowercase bc means 2.5 times removed from an elliptical's fulsomeness as a galaxy. This galaxy is 139 million light years distant, which puts it about the size of Messier 31 at 150,000 light years. We're at right ascension 34 minutes 2 seconds, a declination of minus 9 degrees, 42 minutes and 20 seconds. pretty obvious on the screen, even though we're almost 10 degrees south of the celestial equator. I do believe we imaged this one earlier for comparison purposes. NGC157 is a galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 10.4, largish, 4.1 by 2.7 arc minutes. Wow, we did see this vision before. It's a beautiful spiral galaxy, but you can really make out some spiralicity in this sweetie. It's at right ascension 34 minutes and 46 seconds with a declination of -8 degrees, 23 minutes, 46 seconds. This one is 77 million light years distant, which puts it about the size of our Milky Way, maybe 90,000 light years in diameter. A great look. Okay, here we should be seeing NGC160, galaxy in Andromeda, magnitude 12.6, 2.9 by 1.6 arc minutes. Maybe a bit larger than your average sub-13th magnitude galaxy, but it's a spiral with a lowercase a and a ring. Look for that angularity. 240 million light years distant puts this baby at about 175,000 to 200,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 36 degrees 36 minutes 4 seconds with a declination of plus 23 degrees 57 minutes and 28 seconds. Well, our last galaxy had a field of view neighbor, if not a actual gravitationally bound neighbor. NGC162 is a galaxy in Andromeda, magnitude 16.8 by 0.3 arc minute spiral with a lowercase b c. 285 million light years distant, right ascension 35 degrees 35 minutes 58 seconds with a declination of plus 24 degrees 2 minutes and 14. There was nary a click and the stepper motors of the Losmandy mount to get to it. So both these galaxies should be apparent in the field. I believe the last one was NGC160. Okay, we're looking for NGC173, a galaxy in Cetus. Now the reason I selected it, this one's rather large for a 13th magnitude galaxy, 3.2 by 2.6 arc minutes, spiral with a lowercase c, 196 million light years distant. This galaxy is probably somewhere around 180,000 light years in diameter. It's a right ascension 37 minutes 12 seconds with a declination of almost plus 2 degrees, even though it's in Cetus, at plus 1, 56 minutes and 31 seconds. And the galaxy is quite apparent towards the middle of the field. We're getting close to getting some aperture block on this second distant satellite galaxy of Messier 31, NGC185. Galaxy in Cassiopeia, magnitude 9.2, 12.5 by 10.4 arc minutes. A disturbed elliptical, 2.1 million light years distant. Right ascension 38 minutes 57 seconds. Declination 48 degrees, 20 minutes and 13 seconds. The interesting thing will be to see if getting some aperture block has adversely affected it more, or whether being a little bit later in the evening in better sky position is giving a better view. Looks pretty good to me, however, from this angle. How about you? NGC190A is a galaxy in Pisces. Magnitude 15.8, 0.6 by 0.6 arc minute, parent size elliptical, 544 million light years distant. We're at right ascension 38 minutes 54 seconds with a declination of plus 7 degrees 3 minutes and 23 seconds. Should be quite visible on the screen, given the fact that 16.5 magnitude galaxies usually turn up as faint little smudges. I do believe I'm seeing it rather readily, however. Right about there. But remember, there's an NGC190 as well, possibly somewhere on the screen. This could be our fainter confrere right there. NGC192 is another galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 12.6, 2:1 aspect ratio, 1.9 by 0.9 arc minute, spiral with a bar, lowercase a, 186 million light years distant, probably puts it about 110,000 light years in diameter. There's another nice fainter galaxy up there. I wonder if that's going to be part of the 100 to 199 series. We shall see. Alright, NGC199 is the last galaxy on the docket for this evening. Galaxy in Pisces, magnitude 13.6, 1.2 by 0.7 arc minutes, lenticular spiral, 206 million light years distant, probably something like 70,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 39 minutes, 33 seconds, with a declination of positive northern declination of 3 degrees, 8 minutes, and 18 seconds. So before we have another look at the Triangulum galaxy, which is what we ended up on 2 nights previously, what I'm going to do is skip ahead to the 200 series just in case there's something of particular interest we might like to view. You might recall having seen this one earlier. This is NGC205, a galaxy in Andromeda. Magnitude 8.1, 19.5 by 11.5 arc minutes. Spiral of the... This is interesting because it usually is cited as an elliptical. However, it's the spiral of the A-class lenticular, 2.5 million light years distant. That's capital A, so it's on the upward tuning fork arc. 2.5 million light years distant, right ascension 40 minutes 22 seconds with a declination of 41 degrees 41 minutes and 7 seconds. You, of course, also know this as Messier 110. Let's have a look at that triangulum and then Carpe Noctem out for the evening. Okay, here we have the galaxy in Triangulum, Messier 33. Its magnitude overall is magnitude 5.7, so if you condensed all of its light down to a starry point, you might just see it from a decent viewing location. However, its 5.7 magnitudes are spread out over a region 68 minutes by 41 minutes, which basically says twice the size of the moon. 3 million light years distant, with a right ascension of 1 hour, 33 minutes, and 51 seconds, declination of plus 30 degrees, 39 minutes, and 27 seconds. It's barely in the sky's middle third. And that's the look that we are getting on this, what I think is a rather decent evening of viewing. So I'm going to bid you a Carpe Noctem.